Hey everyone, today I'm going to be making golden sweet cornbread. You're going to need a big bowl for mixing. You're going to need some cornmeal. So to start, we're going to put in some cornmeal. I'm going to put in a cup of cornmeal into this bowl, but please check out my description for the actual recipe and your measurements, as I've extended a few of these ingredients for myself. I'm making chili tonight and I really want to have this golden sweet cake cornbread with it, but I'm going to need a little bit more because I want to share some with others. Okay, so your next dry ingredient is going to be your granulated white sugar. You can use sugar substitutes. You'll just have to check with your sugar substitute how to use it. I just use the white sugar. So you're going to put that straight into your bowl with the cornmeal there. And we have a few other dry ingredients to add in. We have baking powder, and we're going to have some flour, and we're going to have some salt. So get that on hand. The other thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and start preheating your oven. So right there behind me, I have my oven and it's preheated. So it's preheating at this moment. You're going to want to preheat it to 400 degrees. And the kind of cake pan that you're going to want to use, I'm using a round actually pie pan, but you're going to want to use a cake pan, or you can even use a cast iron skillet. Sometimes I make cornbread that way and it is really yummy. It gets some really crispy edges, and there's just something special about using a cast iron skillet for cornbread. Anyhow, so here I am putting in my flour. I believe for y'all's recipe, you're going to need 1 cup of flour. So this recipe, again, I found it at Head Start. The kids would absolutely go crazy when we would get cornbread come to the room, and they would love to have it with milk. So one day I tried it and it literally tastes like yellow cake. It was so yummy. All right, so now we're going to add in our baking powder. You're going to need 3 teaspoons of baking powder, and then we're going to add in our salt. Now you're going to do a teaspoon of the salt. Just get yourself a little spoon. You're going to mix all these dry ingredients in next. So now you're just going to kind of incorporate them all together. Cornbread mix is quite forgiving, but I do like to make sure that everything gets mixed together and that, the baking powder and all that has been kind of spread amongst everything. But again, mixing cornbread is pretty forgiving. There's not much to it. You just kind of mix. All right, so we're going to get ready to do our wet ingredients next. I'm going to go ahead and just add them straight into this bowl. So you're going to need some different ingredients here. We're going to start with an egg. This egg is actually from my chickens, and so I'm going to use this egg, and then I'm going to give them back their shell. They actually eat their own shells. It's really a cool process. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add in vegetable oil. You're going to do your vegetable oil, check your measurements for what you're going to need. You can use other kinds of oil if you don't have vegetable oil on hand, but vegetable oil is a good one to use. It's very neutral. Okay, so next we're going to put in milk. For this recipe, I do prefer to use whole milk, but I don't really have it on hand. We really only use the 2% milk. So go ahead and put your milk in there, whatever you got. I'm doing 1 cup of the 2% milk. And go ahead and clean up your workstation. That's pretty much everything you're going to use. So now you're going to get your whisk or some spoon or something that you like to mix with. And go ahead and just start mixing all of the ingredients. Once they're mixed, go ahead and pour them straight into your pan like I have here. I'm going to drizzle on some honey on top. This kind of gives it some interesting kind of color on top. It also kind of makes it just kind of crispy and nice in some ways. I just really like to put a little honey on top. Then I like to smooth it out so it's just kind of there. It's kind of like a shiny glaze in a way. So that's what I like to do with my cornbread. And so the next thing would be just to put it into the oven. So this is what it looks like. That's how it looks like for mine. And I'm going to put it straight into the oven. You're going to put it in the oven for 30 minutes. I like to check around 25 minutes and see how it is. All right, so here is my cornbread. It has come out so yummy and delicious. Look at that. It's just golden color and just yum. So I'm going to slice into it so you can see how it's all cakey. And look at that. Isn't that good? So if I haven't told you, there is a secret recipe in the description for you. Thank you all so much for watching. Check out my description for the actual recipe and a cheat recipe I added in there for you using Jiffy Mix and yellow cake mix. See you next time.